Good morning, noon, or night. My name is Jet, and welcome to my channel, JITV, Jet in the Valley. This one is going to be titled Inversionland slash ostrich. So, if we want solutions to our problems, we have to acknowledge what's actually wrong and what's happening and figure out what's causing these problems. An ostrich sticks its head into the sand. And that is what a huge portion of people are also doing. There's no possible way you can solve a problem while you're doing that, while you're hiding from it. Some people don't know. Some people don't know what the problem is. Those people, I'm not making fun of anybody. I understand that there are a lot of things when you start figuring out, it is very scary because it looks so big and it looks like there's no solution. And you would just rather not deal with it, and you would rather just live out your days and play with your dogs and say la vie, and there you go. There's a portion of us here that can't do that. There's a portion of us here that are obligated to deal with these things. If you know you're one of those people and you stick your head in the sand and you don't do anything and you don't warn anybody, I've spoken about laws that are in place here. So people will call this karma and they'll call it other things, but they'll call it what goes around comes around. So whatever seeds you plant are the plants that you're going to harvest. So if you're supposed to be out growing a garden and you don't put any seeds in the garden, how are you going to harvest the plants as a farmer? If you are a farmer and you're supposed to produce food, you're supposed to produce crops, but you don't sow any seeds, how is that possible? It's not possible. And then you're going to deal with the repercussions of those actions. So find other people, maybe some other people. I'll jump right to the point. So the answer to everything is more love. That's the only solution. And nobody wants to hear that, really, because it seems impractical and it seems abstract and it seems woo-woo, or it seems with our society and the inversion that's occurred, like people think love is some Lifetime Hollywood garbage romance novel type thing. They don't understand the power of love, the real deal power of love, and that it's what we all need, and it doesn't have to come from other people. Okay, so quick about the inversion land. This is just a quick list. And like I said, if we don't acknowledge where these problems are, that we have these problems and where they're coming from, they're never ever going to get fixed. So just quick ones. Public schools with outcome-based education have been a failure. They're kind of making people dumb. And this is no disrespect to any teachers. I come from a very long line of school teachers. My great-grandmother, she taught in a one-room schoolhouse, one of the first ones in the area. And she was a hard-working woman, and she loved those children, and she was trying her best to educate them all. I think it was ages 6 to 13. The way our schools are trying to educate is not a love-based, which means the most high way of education. It's already been proven just quickly that changing something every 40 minutes is not good. That's not how our brains function. Montessori proved that 40, 50 years ago. They have at least hour and a half, 2 hour chunks of time, and then, they change it, every 2 hours instead of every 40 minutes. So that way, that's how we can actually spend time and we learn, and that's how we function, and that's how we learn the best, is not changing all of the time. Um, there are plenty of other things that go along with that. Um, Here's the thing. There's not really an excuse for a delay in information. So previously, before the internet, there was an excuse of a delay of information. So to learn things like that, you would have to have years of studying and writing down notes about classes and different things, and then people would actually have to mail their stuff together and collaborate, and then someone would have to be in charge of going over that, all of that research, and then they'd have to write a book, and then they'd have to have the book published, then they would have to have the money to send it out to different places. So we don't have that excuse anymore because we have the internet and it's basically free to share and exchange knowledge. The doctors, the allopathic medicine, if you want to call it that, over the last period of years has been overall a pretty large failure. Some word gymnastics that they like to use is in regard to medications, prescriptions. They'll call things, they'll call them side effects. Like, if you take this medication for anxiety, these side effects may occur. Those side effects are not side effects. They are direct effects of whatever you just put in your body. So they're just the undesired side effects. You take 5 pills and you take them all together. They're side effects, direct effects of those medications from them being taken with each other. There are children whose brains are still developing that are on an absurd amount of different so-called medications, and we don't even know what it's going to do or what it's going to affect. We have no idea. We just discovered, I don't know how long it's been known, but Tylenol has adverse and negative effects on children who, when their brain is still in the growing and it's still forming. Pretty high. I'm not going to say that because I'd have to research it again. But people give Tylenol out like it's nothing, but we need to stop doing that because it's been proven to have detrimental effects on children. Our food. How do you know? What would you call fake food? I would call fake food that you ingest that your body is not capable of recognizing as food. In order for your body to process things, it has to be organic, and your body has to acknowledge and be able to recognize that it is food. Most of our food is not real food. It is fake food. So that's what they're selling in the majority of grocery stores. Even Pillsbury put on their frosting that it contains bio something ingredients. So it's totally artificial. Do we really need to discuss like how that could negatively affect our children and everybody by eating food that our bodies cannot recognize? We have this crazy uptick of autoimmune diseases and all these different health problems. 95% of Americans are on some type of medication. The air quality. We've had metal factories since the 50s. They have tested ponds on top of mountains that are closed off from other places, and the high levels of the things that are in the water, even in those locations, what goes up must come down. If it's going up, it's going to be coming down somewhere. It's really unbelievable what's in the water. And a little side one is there are some people's animals, their dogs and their cats, that eat better than the average child. And I understand that. I understand the system and how it works. I understand capitalism. I understand currency. I understand all of those things. What I don't understand is how are there, I think, 30 million people a year starving to death still? How is that possible? 30 million people starving to death each year. I saw somewhere it said 25,000 a day. I'm not exactly sure. That's what the CDC sites and this, that, and the other say. Who knows about the numbers? But the fact that there's even like a million people starving to death every year shows us where we are functioning from. We are functioning from an exclusion-based, a fear-based monetary system where the difference between the top and the bottom is becoming more and more and more drastic all the time. And what drives me crazy that I see are people that are way down at the bottom will be the ones that are fighting for keeping the systems that the way that they are, and saying that this is the best that it can function. I am not a socialist, nor am I a communist, or am I promoting basic incomes or anything like that. I just would like to understand how there's companies that are making who knows, trillions of dollars a year, and they're not held accountable for making sure that there aren't 30 million people starving to death. It doesn't make any sense. It's fear-based and it's exclusive-based. It's survival of the fittest, which has no part of love. And if we want to solve these problems, then we have to acknowledge that the problem is we have been separated from love. And most people have been separated from love. And that makes everybody weak when we don't have love. Love cannot be redefined. Love is what it is. It's the creative life force of everything that we are understanding. And it will bring you peace, joy, happiness, kindness, contentment. It will bring you self-control, peace, and patience, all of those things. But you can't be in opposition to it and get those gifts. You cannot be functioning in the opposing team and get the gifts of those things. And the things that you're going to get from the other side of love are just totally crappy knockoffs of what you could have with love. Love is a superpower. Love is the highest. It's the most high frequency that resonates here. You cannot be in fear and love at the same time. It's like when you shine a light in the dark has to go away. That is what love is. It is your flashlight in the dark. And here in Inversion Land, they have inverted the meaning of love so that you don't have a flashlight in the dark anymore. And they have a total advantage over anybody who has no flashlight in the dark. And because what they've done is, instead of having a real flashlight, they have manipulated all the different things of reality and created their own weirdo flashlight that they can use, but it's still not the real deal. We have the sunlight. We have the real light in us. We have the candlelight, and they made a crappy technological based, I can't even say it because I'm going to get flagged. It's fake. So, love is the real deal. Everything else is not. And it's falsehood, and it's falseness, and it's a snare, and it's a trap, and they hate you. And, so that was Inversion Land, and we can't stick our heads in the sand because this is happening all around us and everywhere. This is what's happening, and all you have to do is go go look and see for yourself. So with that said, much love and thank you.